So I know you really have had a lot of experience, and I'm not calling you an unexperienced grandmother. I'm just pointing out the fact that it's been a long time since you've been around someone Charlotte's age. Are we correct about that? Correct. But how many meetings are we going to have? How many times are we going to have to talk to family court about something? I thought that these visitations, it would just be something me, Miranda, and Kristen did, and that was it. I never knew that you guys would have to stick your nose in every single second. I know. Believe me, I don't wish to be wasting our resources interviewing you right now, and this is really the only interview that I'm going to be doing with you because I feel like I already know everything you're going to say. But I have to do this little mini interview just so I can show my superiors that I did it, and so that I can report back, so that they can report back as well. Say we did handle this and we did cover this area. Okay, so what exactly are we covering here today? What's the theme? What's this about? Well, our initial ordeal here is dealing with the visitations. That's the case. But when there's a complaint made, we unfortunately have to deviate from that case and look into the complaint just to make sure that we're covering ourselves. And again, we want everything done thoroughly. We don't want to leave any stones unturned, and we just want to make sure that our cases are running flawlessly. So, from what I gathered, there's been a complaint about me, of course. It always somehow trickles down to me. Always my fault about everything, even when I'm doing my best and minding my business. Am I right? Complaint about me? Yes, and before you even ask who it was, I need to let you know we cannot tell you that. The complaint was made in regards to the choking incident with Charlotte. I need to point something out though. Charlotte is not part of this agreement that we all have. Just like me and Kristen were not part of the custody hearing and we were tied into it, and the judge, I'm not a lawyer here in Serafina Town, so what can I say, but I do know that Charlotte's not part of this equation. So anything that I do with Charlotte shouldn't be observed by you guys. Right. But she is in the household. She is the sibling of Junior. It directly affects Junior, because you are one of the parties named in the visitation rights custody agreement, right? So it was a complaint made, and I'm giving you a little interview here, and that's really as far as it's going to go. Forgive me, but I would be fake if I didn't say what I felt and what was on my mind. I'm transparent with everyone, so please don't take offense to when I say this makes absolutely no sense to me. None whatsoever. Okay, that's where I have to argue with you just a little bit. Sports players, people who work for the NFL, right? They play football. When they get into trouble outside of football for domestic issues, drug issues, violence issues, whatever the case may be. Not that I'm saying this is something that happens all the time, but when you're in the public, not even that. When you have a really good position in life and you do something outside of that sphere, it trickles down to you. Okay, so Charlotte may not be directly named in this agreement, but she is part of the household. She is the sibling. If you walked out on the street today and kicked a kid into the street and the kid was hit by a car, we have to look at that. We just do. Fine. Get on with it then. Okay. Quick questions, then we'll be done. The puff The little piece of food that you brought to Charlotte that day, were you aware that that brand could have caused an issue with her? No. I... When you buy food for a toddler, unless otherwise specified by their parent or the government or something, I did not think that the brand had any difference. I didn't think it made a difference. Thought it was all the same. I come from an era where there was a handful of formulas and one big baby food brand, and there weren't a million different products out there. Now there are, and you would think that they would just all be similar, like Doritos. When it comes to giving Charlotte new foods, do you typically check with Miranda? Yes. Was that puff a new food? No, I wouldn't have given it to her if she had not had them before. So it wasn't new, it was just the brand, I guess. And again, I am not privy to what brand is this and what brand is that. I am a grandmother, and as you pointed out yourself, I do not have a lot of experience now, lately, with this child. Yeah, I'm rusty. Can we agree that whenever you give her something new that she has not tried on the regular every single day that you with her, whatever, you will just check with Miranda or have someone there? Agree. Okay. That's all I had to do. Now I can write this down, say we spoke to you. This isn't a warning or anything like that. If the person that complained comes back and says what happened with that, this is what happened. We interviewed, we investigated, and everything's fine. That's it. Who did complain? The person that I see what you did there. You almost got me. I can't tell you. I'm sorry. I can't tell you. It's worth a shot. I got the ick. You got the ick. Yeah, I got the ick. It was the very moment that Brian told me that he got angry with Cassandra. It was like an epiphany. It was just this thing of, okay, no. Just no. Just know about what? Just know about forgetting. And I know, I touted forgive and forget. But I can't forget the... Oh, how do I explain it? Brian wasn't a bad partner. But the moments where he was over the top and suffocating, I don't miss those arguments at all. And when he was talking about Cassandra and the problems he had with her, I just felt it. I felt like I was in the argument with them. And no amount of attraction, no amount of how good he is with Charlotte, no amount of any of it makes up for those arguments, those long monologues that we had back and forth. It was so dreary, and I hate to say it, but it ruined my pregnancy with Charlotte because of how I don't remember any good moments between me and Brian during that time, and please don't repeat that to him, but he was just so on top. I know it was his first baby in his head before we knew the truth, but he was just too much of a micromanager, and you shouldn't have that in a pregnancy. And he does it in the relationship. Okay, so I pretty much take it you were just going to stay single, which I support. I think you do your best. You are the best version of Miranda when you are focusing on your work, you're focusing on your kids, but more importantly, you are focusing on you. Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm staying single. I don't even know why. I guess I get my periods of like loneliness. I'm sorry if I like affection, you know, and not going home to an empty bed and raising 2 children even with my dad and my mother-in-law, even with them, it's still very hard. Because I can't expect the world out of them. So, I guess the problem here is that when Brian is around, that micromanaging comes in handy. And then you get duped into thinking, oh, maybe we could get together. Because he's so good with Charlotte. That's the problem. He's so good with her that it makes me believe that there's something else there. And I don't think there is. I have to be devil's advocate. I have to be the friend that, pushes you a little bit here. You did say that you loved him. I think it was a trauma response. When you go through something so dramatic and you look back almost in a nostalgic way, like you think life was simpler when you were broke, or when you were struggling or on the come up, or when you miss someone being around even though the time period wasn't that good for you. You're working at a grocery store for minimum wage or something, but you remembered the time a little bit better than it was. And I think that's what my brain does with Brian sometimes. I think I look at Brian and I'm like, oh, I remember those days where we had supervised visits and who knew what was going to happen. But I hated those times, and those times sucked. Well, it seems like the journey of therapy for all of us is never quite over. There's always something else to learn. Yeah. I just don't know how to now continue letting Brian see Charlotte and his nephew and not have this constantly come up. I know I said to him once, no, but I feel like it's going to come up again. Brian needs to get used to rejection. Maybe he needs to take a page out of your book. Learn how to deal with being alone. How are you holding up, Mrs. Riley? Miss Riley, I'm sorry. Well, I've most certainly had better days. I get to see my grandson and my granddaughter now, so those days aren't so bad as of late. Really just trying to forget about my son, but there's no other reason for an officer to be in my home other than some sort of update, so I guess I'm not forgetting my son today. What's going on, officer? Well, I understand your pain, and I'm just here to give you an update that they reinitiated a search team to the waters because there's a potential development in the water, and yeah. I'm sorry if I'm coming off unprofessional. This is just my first time delivering news like this. No worries at all. It's crazy. No offense, but all of you in uniform kind of look alike to me. It's hard to realize that you're not the same officer I spoke to last time or the time before that. So it's a body. They recovered a body from the water? They think so. It's unconfirmed right now. They just, he was the last person to jump into that body of water. There haven't been any jumpers since last year, so if whatever they found it is a human being, it most likely is him. So they just wanted me to give you the heads up, because Seraphine Town Police, they're trying their best to turn things around and make sure they're ahead of things before the news gets ahead of things, and they don't want people finding out from the news rather than us. Not that I don't know if they would report on your son, but yeah, unconfirmed. Yeah, right now they have divers out on the water. They have a few of my men out there. Some people from the higher ups that don't wear uniforms, that type of thing. So they just wanted me to touch base with you and give you a heads up. Okay. Thank you. And so I was about to leave the dog walking place, and then a client calls me back, and I'm like, oh no, I did something wrong to the dog, right? And she hands me $1,000 kit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Beretta, I'll call you back later. For coming. I needed someone. I just needed someone here. Like, as a presence. Because I feel like, I don't know, that was it was a sign. It has to be him. It has to be him. Melissa, you and I both experienced Joey in similar yet different ways. But we can both agree that his personality was larger than life. He was a main character to us, right? So, not to mansplain, which I feel like I'm doing even though I'm not a man, but I'm sure they said this to you in therapy. When we experience the death of someone who is larger than life, there are always going to be conspiracy theories that we drum up, whether subconscious or on purpose. Look at the death of Michael Jackson. People still don't believe he's dead. Same with Elvis. Elvis has been dead for how long, and people still think he's out there. So Joey's death being so soon, so recent, of course, every little thing you're going to think it's him. And crazy, yes, your tires got slashed, but you just made some enemies, and you've made enemies over your lifetime, and I don't think it's him. Joey is dead. He is dead. Jacob would not slash my tires. I didn't park in a zone that wasn't, like, wrong. I didn't park in front of someone's gate. There's no one in the neighborhood that hates me. I don't think Cassandra would slash my tires. She's rich. I am a pebble to her. You know, I'm an ant. She doesn't care about me. Unless she really was pissed off that, like, Jacob stopped talking to her as a friend, but I still can't see her slashing my tires. There are so many, like, wealthier ways to get back at me. She could have, like, spammed me in my email or so did some sort of cyber attack on me, or, I don't know, bought out my condo and had me displaced. No matter what you believe, I'm not judging you. Do you want to stay with me for a bit? I couldn't stay with you. No. I called you over Gabby because I know you came with security downstairs. You know, I'm sorry I had to take you away from your kids. It's okay. My dad's watching them right now. I know you want to forget him. And I know you're moving on with your life, and kudos to you. More power to ya. But, I feel this presence over me. And I didn't want to burden Jacob with it more than I needed to, so I told him that the therapy was working, and it is working in some ways. But I can't walk down the street without thinking that I'm going to have my throat slit. And I don't just want to be with Jacob so he stays the night with me, but sleeping alone is terrifying. I have like 19 locks on my door and on the windows and stuff, and it's still, even living up this high, I know he who shall not be named wouldn't climb a fire escape in the dead of night to get caught by police or something, but I feel like he's alive. And I feel like he slit my tires, and next it's gonna be my throat. You're going to stay with me, okay? No ifs, ands, or buts. For your mental health. I can't burden you with that, Miranda. It'll be good for you. It will. Alright. As you can see, I did get a car, and I fixed my license situation, and I have a job. So, I'll pay you rent if you want. Not at all. You keep your apartment, pay for it. You don't have to pay rent. We'll figure things out as we go. It's temporary until you can get your mind right. I really appreciate this, Miranda, more than you know. You've turned out to be a lifesaver to me. For my mental health, I can't do this. I am so paranoid. It's okay, Melissa. Really.